new look team. This is their first starting lineup of the year. We'll see what they can do.
Bostic controls the opening tip very easily, and Illinois has the ball to begin today's game. Here's Adalia McKenzie driving the lane, puts it up off the window, no good, but Bostic, as we're so accustomed to seeing her do, the offensive rebound and the putback. She was top 30 in the country last year in rebounding, Bostic. First possession for the Eagle offense, and Bostic comes up with the steal.
That's going to be kind of the flow of today's game. Two very fast-paced teams that want to play at very fast paces. Jada Peebles getting a shot off already. That's just kind of going to be the rhythm of the game. That first shot took about 10 seconds off the shot clock. Just then, another 10 seconds or so. That's about the ideal range for Coach Shauna Green's Illinois team.
Katie Novick drives to the hoop, and she scores. So in her first collegiate game, Katie Novick on the board here for Morehead State.
Coach Petrie is really excited about KB Novick, the young freshman coming in here with a lot of skill that's very common in the Eastern European game, but the American game adjustment of upping that physicality is going to be the biggest difference.
Novick called for the foul here. Illinois played an exhibition game on this floor 8 days ago, beating Truman State 121-60. See the bump as trying to turn the corner.
And there's Katie Novick already getting physical there.
So 2 points and a foul for Novick thus far. Here's Genesis Bryant, second team All Big Ten last year. Bostic, dribble handoff and poked away and stolen. Trying to go the length of the court was Charles, but she had it knocked away, and that's Charles showing why she was OVC Defensive Player of the Year last season.
She is the heart and soul of this team, leading scorer as well. She really does get it done on both ends. This team revolves around her, and they're going to need Veronica Charles at the top of her game every single day for them to have a big-time run in any capacity throughout the course of this campaign.
See the starters listed for the Eagles, as that is out of bounds. Will remain Morehead State ball with 8 on the timer. Morehead State got a win in the OVC tournament against UT Martin. That was an upset for them back in March. Shot clock at 5. Novick, kick out. McKenzie got a hand on it. 2 to shoot, 1 to shoot. Secchiaroli got it off the front rim.
That's going to be more ideal for Illinois, is just being able to force those tougher shots, and then, like we said, that transition, stringing together possessions quick, not a lot of time off that shot clock. That's the ideal Illinois sequence right there. They're going to look to get another stop here.
Bryant over 15 points a game last season. Of course, she had that triple-double against FAU, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. The third triple-double in Illinois program history.
Already seeing a little bit of rotation off of that Morehead State bench, and that's not a big surprise. This is going to be a Morehead State team. We've already talked about it, but they want that high motor. They want to get a lot of possessions in without taking off a lot of time, and so they're going to be running up and down the floor. And that's been one of the themes that Coach Petrie has emphasized throughout the offseason.
Bostic. Couple more points for Kendall Bostic. She averaged 10.2 a game last year, was third in the Big Ten with 12 double-doubles. Charles out to Novick, guarded by Bryant, and that's an illegal screen offensive foul on Jaden Rhodes.
Not entirely ideal there, just getting a little bit settled into the game, getting a feel for how this Illinois defense is going to put pressure on them on the perimeter. That's one of the keys for this Illinois team, is being disciplined when they're defending on the perimeter, because they've left that door open into the paint on a couple of occasions. We saw it against Truman State last weekend. They just left the inside exposed in that perimeter pressure.
Here's another steal. Veronica Charles, already her second theft of the game, can't finish. Getting the offensive rebound, Valentina Saric. And now a third chance. Charles will take the 3, back iron, and the rebound Bryant. Bostic running ahead. Trying to get the ball down low to her. Good fronting defense by Novick. Bryant is trapped. And the shot clock down to 15. 3 minutes gone by here in the first quarter.
A lot of that as well was down to Hallie Rhodes' pressure in Genesis Bryant's face just then to slow down Illinois. Morehead State wants more of that.
You have Jaden and Haley Rhodes on this Morehead State team, as that's put in by Adalia McKenzie. Honorable mention, All Big Ten a year ago. She scored over 13.5 points per game, and now a junior. Last touch by the Eagles.
Good jump there by Jada Peebles to get on top of that one. Paris McBride is going to check in now for the Eagles, but just going back on That play there from Jada Peebles in particular, getting the start. That sixth-man role, as you talked about, Scott, that's what she's going to fulfill throughout this season. But highly experienced, and she's going to have the jump on reading plays like that.
I mean, you say highly experienced. Today is Jada Peebles' 110th game at Illinois in the 63rd start she has made.
I understated a little bit there, Scott. You're absolutely right. Jada Peebles has been there through the ups, downs, and further downs that this Illinois program has seen over the last few years, but back on the up, and she's one of those key roles, or she fulfills one of those key roles for this uptrending Illini team.
Had a foul on Charles a few moments ago. Catch and shoot three. Nothing but net for Bryn Shoup-Hill, who shot pretty well from three-point range a year ago. 40%. She made 32 trifectas last year.
Well, and especially considering her versatility as well, being able to have that presence on the inside with her size, and then being a shooting threat as well. When Bryn Shoup-Hill is healthy, that is so beneficial for this Illinois team.
Nice turnaround, Haley Rhodes. She and her sister Jaden, 5'11" sophomores from Keller, Texas. Bostic facing up. Gives to Bryant, behind the screen, takes the three, front rimmed it. And a rebound grab by Rhodes. Ahead for Paris McBride, who will scoop it up to the hoop for two.
Coach
Paris
Petrie,
McBride.
She's going to be really happy with that one. Defense, running, rebounding, that is the mantra that has been hammered into each and every one of these Eagles players. Defense, rebound, running. And that is what just happened in that last few seconds there. So she'll be pretty pleased with that sequence, and we'll hope to see more of that today.
Illinois has started the game 6 of 8 from the field. Morehead State 3 of 7, but they've turned it over a bunch already. Second chance opportunity taken away from Shoup-Hill. McBride into the front court for the Eagles.
I think she was a little bit frustrated that she couldn't find the option off the jump there. Has to settle down a little bit on offense, but there you go. Coach Petrie's philosophy at work here early.
Charles for three, and the rebound Shoup-Hill. Some pressure broken by the Fighting Illini. All the way to the basket and banking it in, Genesis Bryant for her second bucket of the evening.
The Illini sure saw a lot of pressure last year, and Coach Green will be pleased that they were able to break it pretty easily. Although Morehead State may not be the caliber that they'll see later in the season of opponent of who will apply that pressure. Nice sequence there.
Three-pointer rattles out for Haley Rhodes. This is a Morehead State team that last year shot 23 three-pointers per game. That led the Ohio Valley Conference. It was within the top 70 in the country. So we have a whistle and a timeout called by Morehead State, and so that'll give us a timeout on the floor. Illinois
wants her team tonight to continue that stretch of winning, and as well as Illinois' coach Shauna Green.
Basket by Haley Rhodes there. Yeah, and Cooper brought it up there. Morehead State went from 1 win to 11 wins from 2 years ago and last year. And of course, Illinois had the big turnaround as well. And you know, Kayla Petrie is in her 3rd year as Morehead State's head coach. Shauna Green is in her 2nd year as Illinois' head coach. Similar spots in a way, obviously, different situations overall, but trying to bring two programs up from, for some tough times.
Absolutely. With Illinois, you're going to have a team that's in a very competitive Big Ten conference at the highest levels of the sport, the collegiate level. And then with Morehead State, not quite the same size of program, certainly. And so maybe there's more grace in developing the program. But for Morehead State, it's more about just sustaining that trend, keeping it going in the upward direction, because there's still a lot of room to grow. And that is what Coach Petrie will look to establish.
Morehead State hanging around right now here in this first quarter, 15-9. They're shooting 4 of 10. Despite having 4 turnovers, Illinois has 3. Another three-pointer that was a good look that doesn't go. Morehead State now 0 of 5 from 3, but Coach Petrie wants her Eagles to take those three-pointers.
She absolutely does. They're going to see a lot more shots playing at this pace.
It's a nice setup offensively there, pick and roll, but the defense better, and the charge called on Blessing King. Another look.
Gonna get another look here. How they're calling these is a lot different this season in years past, but Adalia McKenzie about as straight up and down as you possibly could be, but even then there's maybe still a little bit of room for whether or not that was a foul on one team or the other.
Face up, Camille Hobby gives it off into the corner. That a three-pointer is missed out of the corner by Gretchen Dolan. Pair of newcomers. Hobby's a transfer from North Carolina State. Dolan, a freshman from Buffalo, New York. Also out there, Cameron Rhodes, a sophomore from Chandler, Arizona, along with McKenzie for the Fighting Illini, as well as Shea Bolin, a transfer from Duke out of Raynham, Massachusetts. Three-pointer, too strong by Sarek. Last touch, though, by Illinois. Morehead State now 0 of 6.
That's a couple of good looks there for Sarek now, and that's what they're going to want from her. She's one of the bigger players on this team, and she's also the second best three-point shooter on this team, the best returning one. A year ago, she had one of those high rates, and she's going to take a fair number of those shots. And we talked about Bryn Shupil having to worry about her on all dimensions of offense, and that's kind of what they're looking for in Sarek.
Genesis Bryant will return to the game now, replacing Adalia McKenzie. Shot clock was reset to 20. Haley Rhodes with it, guarded by Dolan. Now here's Novick, using the screen set by Hall. Sarek will drive with 5 on the shot clock, flips it up, and this time we look at a blocking foul on Illinois on Dolan.
It's good poise there by Novick. I think Brian was looking for the travel call there on Novick, but it was a good exchange there. And you saw Sarek, she faked it, and then a lot of physicality there in the middle, but she gets the better of the official's decision that time.
See, Sarek last year, 22 games for the Eagles as a freshman. She had 4 games last year in double figures. Had a 4 three-pointer made game against Southeast Missouri. Was a member of the Croatian U18 national team. She's from Los Altos, California. Knocking down a pair of free throws from Morehead State. And look at the scoreboard here, just a 4-point game, 2:15 left to go in the first quarter. So Kayla Petrie on the Morehead State sideline has to be very pleased right now.
Yeah, they've been successful in slowing down the Illini as they come up the floor, and then once the Illini do get settled in, they are pressing them. They're kind of giving up the paint, but in the process, they're getting pressure on the outside, and it is a little bit more of an inexperienced Illinois lineup out there right now.
Catch and shoot 3. Genesis Bryant coming around on the curl. 7 points for Bryant. She shot 40% from three-point land a year ago.
Well, there's one of your more experienced currently out there right now. Talk about the catch and shoot ability of Genesis Bryant that makes her so dangerous on all areas of the floor.
Shupil gets her hand in the passing lane. Rhodes pulls up from 17, and a rebound cleared by Novick.
You like the idea there, but there's Rhodes again in the face of the one coming up the floor at first. I mean, you can tell that's her assignment off the bench, but she's been really sharp so far defensively for these Eagles.
Rhodes will pick up the foul as Melissa Secchiaroli will come back on for Morehead State. She started her career at Wichita State. She's from France. 7-point Illinois lead here in the first quarter. Ball in the hands of Katie Novick. Here's Secchiaroli, and around it goes. Haley Rhodes. Novick fumbles it out of bounds, and Morehead State turns it over now for the 7th time. Illinois has 7 points off the prior 6.
Michaela Hall was a little bit frustrated that she didn't get the ball. She came back out into the spread look that Morehead State was running. She kind of wandered inside after the first few seconds or so, and I think that kind of disrupted what Morehead State was going for. Early in these possessions, they want to find options first.
Shupil wide right with the three-pointer, picked up off the floor by Secchiaroli. A drive and kick, corner 3, Jaden Rhodes short. Novick, the offensive rebound, had Shupil in front of her, so decided to kick it out. Final minute of the first quarter. Novick around the screen. Jaden Rhodes pops out for 3. That comes up short. And Bostic with the board. Already her 4th of the evening. Bryant will get down the baseline and put it home for 9 points now.
Yeah, you just can't give her that pocket of space because Genesis Bryant is one of the better players in the Big Ten at being explosive and being able to take any space that you give her. And so that's a lesson a lot of defenders are going to learn, I think, if they haven't already. And just then, Genesis Bryant with a relatively easy bucket.
Shot clock off here. Morehead State can take the final shot. 4 of 14 from the field here in the first quarter, 29%. And that's an illegal screen, moving pick. On a Hall.
Just watching Michaela Hall and Coach Kayla Petrie's exchange just now. They're similar levels of animation, but clearly in disagreement with each other. You can tell Hall wants to enforce some of that presence on the inside, and I'm sure Petrie wants the same here.
Couple of seconds left, Bryant. And that'll be it for the first quarter of play. Illinois shoots 9 of 18 in the first quarter, 50.
That's kind of what they were navigating last year, but this year she's been a lot more forward about just defense didn't look great, particularly in the exhibition, and so she wants to string possessions together more. And then on offense, it's all about starting the possessions the way they want to. That's going to set the tone. You saw it in the first quarter. Anytime they were slowed down, they just weren't as successful.
On defense this season, she wants to see her team improve on closeouts, on three-point shots, as Morehead State gets on the board first here in the second quarter, and they are within 7, and 20-13. Novick now with 4 points.
You can see Morehead State already coming out with a lot more motion on offense, and on defense they're playing a little bit more man-to-man. They're following around their assignments.
Peebles for 3, clangs out, and the rebound secured by Seki Aroli. Also on defense, Shauna Green wants her team to win the 2 dribble wars. Wants to be, that was a good closeout right there by McKenzie, so exactly what they're looking for. But you go to the weak side and you have the open 3 for Sarek. Saved in bounds. It'll be Morehead State basketball.
This is an uncharacteristic performance from Sarek thus far. Again, one of their better three-point shooters, and the better teams are going to punish Illinois for looks like that because they're being baited just a little bit. They're doing a little bit too much ball chasing, and that's why Sarek had the open look. So again, got away with it that time, but in other situations against better teams, they probably won't.
Charles misses the 3 from the corner. Morehead State now 0 of 10 shooting the 3.
They're going to be relieved there that Genesis Bryant didn't take too hard of contact going into the sideline there.
Illinois has
I think I just heard "Welcome to America" there from Kayla Petrie. I mean, there again, she's talked about it with Katie Novick. It's just about her being physical because it's very technical. You get a lot more of those open looks because you're tactically just trying to feel each other out in the Eastern European game. But here in America, you're not going to get quite as much of that. You're going to be punched in the face a little bit, and
not literally.
Yeah, not literally.
Not.
Hopefully not literally. I mean, you never know what you're going to see, but there's going to be a lot more pushing and shoving, and you're going to be thrown off your rhythm, and it's the response to that that defines the American game.
Sarek off the back iron, no good. Bostic rips away the rebound. Bryant, trouble with the dribble, somehow able to maybe get away with something and eventually get to the rim to lay it in.
Yeah, her mind was outrunning her feet just a little bit there, but she's able to recover it. I mean, that just speaks to the skill of Genesis Bryant, but I mean, that's been a problem with Illinois just throughout their first few games here, and with Genesis Bryant in particular, she can just speed up that clock a little bit too much at times.
Novick trying to spin it home. Bostic, another rebound. She's got 6 to go along with 4 points in 10 minutes of action so far. Good dribble skill by Dolan. Gets herself to the cup, off the window and in. And a chance for a 3-point play for the freshman out of Williamsville South High School in Buffalo.
Coach Green is really excited about Gretchen Dolan, and here's some evidence of why. I mean, very technically skilled, very tough on the inside, and then she's able to get the finish there. Gretchen Dolan is only a freshman, but she has not looked it in the limited play time we've seen so far, but she's been very sharp. She's very calm on the ball. She's very smart in the decisions that she makes whenever she is in possession. Very composed for somebody who's playing in her first collegiate game today.
And of course, there's pretty decent connection. Gretchen's mother, Kristen, played basketball for Canisius, of course, where Shauna Green also played, and the program leader with over 2,000 points in her playing career.
A couple of emotional conflicts on this Illinois team when they welcome Canisius to State Farm Center in a couple of weekends.
Weeks, yep. 3-point play completed by Dolan, 25-13. Spinning into the paint, spinning too much, traveling is Skylar Barnes.
I mean, you saw it there, a little bit too excited, getting her first run out here for the Eagles, and I think we just saw her take the bench, so we'll see plenty of Skylar Barnes, I have no doubt, throughout the day.
Running the point, Genesis Bryant for the Fighting Illini, 11 points already in this season opener. Shot 46% from the field last season, and gets 2 more.
It's good bully ball there by Kendall Bostic in particular, helping clear out some space so that Genesis Bryant gets the look there from the inside.
And a basket in close by Novick. So Novick looking pretty good. She's got 6 points. Corey Allen's out there for the first time for Illinois, freshman from Nashville. Montverde Academy in Florida. 12-point Illinois lead. Bryant dumps it off down low. Bostic can't get it to go, but she'll head to the free throw line. Illinois, 1 of 1 at the line thus far. Morehead State 3 of 3.
Just noticing, Bostic hasn't had too many shots in this game so far. A lot of it has been from the outside coming in, and that is more or less how Illinois likes to play, at least for their first shot. And Kendall Bostic is great in the cleanup role, but they haven't fed her on the inside all that much today, and I'm curious if that's just how this game has gone or if that's a change in approach. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
See Bostic last season averaging over 10 points a game. Shot 65% from 3. We'll see if the free throw line she shot 65%. We'll see if the 3-point shot becomes more of a part of her game this year. She only took 3 3-pointers last season, but in talking to Shauna Green, it sounded like that part of the game she would like to see, or we could see be a bigger part in this season 23-24. Secchiaroli for 3. Morehead State still 0 for 11 from distance, and that's going to remain Eagles basketball.
I think there was some disagreement there between a couple of the officials of which way that ball was going. Just going back to what you were saying about Kendall Bostic a moment ago about getting more of that shot from the outside. She hasn't used it a lot in game, but she has practiced that ever since she's been here at Illinois pregame for several minutes. In the warm-up, she's the first one on the floor, and she's working on those outside shots. And so, where is that confidence going to kick in, and when are we going to see that from Kendall Bostic?
Step back 3, no good for Matilda Soderlund. And so the ball goes back to Illinois with 5:59 to go. You can see Morehead State 0 for 12 from 3 now in the game.
They've had some really good looks. They've just chucked up a few tough shots, but you've seen Sarek there with a few that she probably should have had, or at least certainly have gotten closer to.
They are 6 of 10 from 2-point range and 3 of 3 at the free throw line. Bryant to Bostic cutting, and this time she'll have a chance for the 3-point play. Kendall Bostic, the second team All Big Ten performer a year ago, 12 double-doubles. And now looking to get to 8 points on the evening.
Deceptively quick is Kendall Bostic. You saw it just then in her cut there to the basket. Genesis Bryant finds the backdoor pass. It speaks to Bryant's awareness and Kendall Bostic's sharpness there to find the space, and she's going to be rewarded for it.
Actually, she just got to 8 points with that basket, so now try to get to 9 with the free throw, and she does. 17-point Illinois lead, now a 12-2 run for the Fighting Illini over the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds or so. And that'll be a foul on Corey Allen, running over Veronica Charles.
Just a little bit reckless there was Corey Allen, and she looks like she's going to tag back out here in favor of this will be Cameron Rhodes once more.
Rhodes, who played 14 games last year for Illinois, about 7.5 minutes per contest. Out of Compass Prep, Chandler, Arizona. It's Illinois extending this lead now out to 17 when it was 7 not that long ago. McBride will take the 3, back rimmed it, rebound ripped away by Genesis Bryant. Bryant, early position, Shoop Hill, extra pass, open Rhodes, 3 ball, yes!
Beautiful work there by Illinois. You know they want the shot in the first 5 or 6 seconds, but very smart there. Kendall Bostic swinging it back out, and Cameron Rhodes makes the Eagles pay.
Illinois was 11th in the country last year, shooting 37% from beyond the 3-point line. Finally, one falls for Morehead State, Melissa Secchiaroli.
That's certainly going to be encouraging, and that's a better look there for Morehead State overall, taking the shot a little bit more quickly because they have let that clock wind down on multiple occasions. And so being able to pull up more sharply there, they get the reward.
Rhodes from the other side, too strong. Charles going into the corner, lets it go, and it'll a graduate of the school back at her alma mater, helping to mentor the current players. Right now a 35-18 lead for Illinois as the ball gets tipped away but recovered by the Eagles. Driving is Sarek, that's blocked by Shupil. Still 5 to shoot, Charles for 3, short, and grabbing the rebound is Bryant.
I really like that awareness there. I couldn't quite tell who it was, but kicking it back out instantly upon the rebound. It just didn't get the shot to fall, but it was a good play on the rebound.
Oh, nice finish by Genesis Bryant. 15 points here in the first half for Bryant on 7 of 9 shooting.
You just don't want her to run under that basket because she tends to find a way. That scooping layup, a trademark of hers, and she gets it to fall, finds the space once more, just beats him to the punch, and she's going to get the chance from the line.
Genesis Bryant at the line, shooting 1.
Bryant was an 89% free throw shooter last season, which was 13th best in the entire country. Oh,
it's because
boy.
you had to say
Oh,
something.
oh.
I think she heard you, Scott.
Well, I apologize.
No more free throw commentary for the rest of the day.
You know, my job is to bring factual information to the table in an unbiased manner, and that's all I was doing. So she stays at 15 points. And triple team there down low. Novick had absolutely nowhere to go. Bryant now. Dribble handoff to Peebles. Bostic setting the screen as well. Rhodes and Shupil also on the floor. Excuse me, Rhodes and Hobby also on the floor. And Kendall Bostic into double figures now with 11.
That's just beautifully done there by Jada Peebles. She baited a couple of defenders looking like she was going to go for the shot. She is so dangerous from three-point range, but Kendall Bostic catches the Eagles sleeping defensively and gets the easy bucket.
Charles getting around the corner. Bostic the block. But a foul called on a pass-off. Bostic, of course, who was 3rd in the Big Ten last year in blocks, up over a block and a half per game. There with Camille Hobby. Another look.
Yeah, and that time I think it's Hobby coming over the shoulder of Veronica Charles, but 2 in the paint, 2 under the basket for Illinois. A bit of a change in approach.
Charles knocks down the 3, her first points of the evening.
That's going to be a welcome sight for the Eagles. Veronica Charles, the heart and soul of this team on both floors. We've talked about her, but haven't had the chance to talk about her in terms of scoring, and so she finally gets some points off, and that'll be a good sign for the visitors.
First team all OVC last year, and that's a whistle against Illinois. I think they called a 3-second violation, if I'm correct there.
I think I heard travel. I didn't see the signal from the official either, but either way, there again, just another mistake there from Illinois. Once that clock does start winding and things settle down on their offensive possessions, that's when Illinois kind of hits a wall. We've seen it a few times today.
Charles. Hall fading over Hobby, and Bostic with 7 rebounds, so she's already 3 rebounds shy of what would be her 18th career double-double. Hobby has a spin around and in. Camille Hobby, the first points in an Illinois uniform for her. 32 games started last year with the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Averaged 9 points and shot 52% from the field, as Illinois now 8 of its last 9 shooting the basketball.
That's exactly what you want from a Camille Hobby. She comes in with that experience, and she was able to get it done on both ends of the floor. Key in the last defensive possession for Illinois, and then coming back up the other end and getting the quick bucket. Gets the friendly roll, but that is exactly what you want from an incoming transfer that has the years and games and minutes that Hobby brings.
Second foul on Cameron Rhodes. And that's turned over by the Eagles. They have 12 turnovers, and Illinois has 14 points off of those turnovers. Morehead State is out-rebounding Illinois 19-13 because the Eagles have 8 offensive rebounds. Now, a lot of those offensive rebounds coming off of the 14 missed three-pointers they have had.
But I mean, rebounds are rebounds, and that is what Coach Petrie has been hammering. There's Hobby again on the inside.
Batted out of bounds by Michaela Hall.
We've said it a couple times, it's defense, running, and rebounding, and that rebounding part, they have not been particularly solid in the OVC, bottom three the last couple of years if I'm not mistaken. That rebounding margin has not been friendly to the Eagles, and that is why they have not had a presence on the inside and why they've been forced to the outside and have had to take so many hard shots.
Offensive rebound by Peebles, and then the short J by Adalia McKenzie, her second basket.
Yeah, McKenzie finds the space really quickly, and her teammate Jada Peebles finds her once more. Good spot up there, and nice mini sequence there by the Illini.
Final minute of the first half. Illinois led 20-11 after the first. Have extended that lead out to 22 now. Coming around to get the handoff is Novick, guarded by McKenzie with 6 on the timer. Spins away from Hobby, kicks it out to Charles. Rhodes, the closeout. Charles hits it nonetheless.
Nicely worked there by Novick, and then Charles staying in space, remaining patient, and then once again, credit to Katie Novick. She was staying tough and shows a little bit of that Eastern European skill, and then kicks it out, finds her teammate, and gets the points.
Illinois will not go for the 2-for-1. You see, Morehead State now has made 3 consecutive from downtown after the over 14 start. Hobby from 15 feet. Charles had the inside position, but Peebles, much bigger, just reaches over and grabs it. And then Charles, I think, will pick up her second foul on the reach in.
Yeah, smiles in the faces of the Illini there. I mean, that speaks to the drive that both players have, every single loose ball. And that's something Jada Peebles, she was kind of in and out of that for her first couple of years before Shauna Green arrived here at Illinois. And she just didn't quite have that extra step that she now has, now that this program has some new life. She's got teammates around her that are able to make the plays that she tries to set up, and that just speaks to how far Jada Peebles has come over the course of her Illini career. And man, oh man, are the Illini happy to have her back.
Peebles shot 45% from 3 last year, a single season Illinois record. She led the team the prior season in three-point shooting at over 37%. She's a career 72% free throw shoot. I'm going to stop giving free throw number. Well, you know what? She had already shot that when that number was coming out. So you can't blame me. They get the offensive rebound, though. Rhodes, McKenzie at the buzzer. Short. And that's actually at the buzzer.
I was
Rhodes.
surprised she got that one off.
And that will do it for the first half. Illinois outscores Morehead State in the second, 24-13. And have extended the lead out to 20. And the Fighting Illini opening up this 23-24 season.
How about that?
Shauna Green really, enforcing in us yesterday about last year how everything was so new. The players are learning how she coaches in certain situations. She had to learn how her players reacted in certain situations. And now this season you have the added expectations. You get the number next to your team name. Whenever it happens, the other team now shows up on your floor, on their floor, with a little extra oomph to their play. And so they know they have that target on their back. I said to her on that call we had yesterday that you're not going to surprise anyone this season. And she's like, yep, everyone knows now that the cat's out of the bag on on what we can do as a team. It's now, the onus is now on Illinois to make that next step and come up with some things that the other teams go, oh, they can do that now too, they can do that. And so that's where the improvement has to come for this Illinois team as we get an early held ball and possession going to Morehead State, just underway in this third quarter. Scott Sudikoff, Alec Gilmore here with you courtside. Cooper O'Kelly manning the sidelines for us. We'll check back in with him in just a few minutes as he got a chance to check in with Kayla Petrie and the Morehead State coaching staff at the end of halftime as Bostic gets tied up. And we got another held ball. This one is Illinois' possession.
Melissa Secchiaroli getting the first shot there for Morehead State in the second half. Had a couple of extra words with Morehead State assistant. I think it was Coach Vladdy over there, Vladdy Schmatt for the Eagles. And it was interesting to see that Secchiaroli is one of those, she comes back here, she had the 8th most minutes, but 5th most assists. She's a great distributor of the ball. In her limited minutes, she had some good looks, and she's going to have an expanded role.
McKenzie is called for the travel, trying to come out of the corner. So a stilted start to the third quarter here.
Full court pressure here for Illinois.
Trapping the basketball. Novick Got 2 seconds to get it over. Does with the pass. Almost intercepted by Bostic. Nice cut to the hoop. Receiving the pass on the run there. Blessing King, the junior college transfer out of Florida Southwestern State, lays it home.
What a great addition Blessing King is for Morehead State, but just going back there on that sequence for Illinois, they saw a lot of pressure in their face and a lot last season. They tried to respond with pressure and it just didn't really work out for them, and so I'm sure that's been addressed in offseason, and it's good that they're getting some chances here in this game, but they have had problems in dealing with pressure and applying pressure as well, and so I think that may be a point of emphasis in these first couple of months for Coach Green's team.
Transition defense able to get back and knock that one away, so it'll be an under out of bounds for the Eagles. It'll be put into play by Katie Novick. Scored 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting in the first half. Tie for the team high with Veronica Charles, who had her points very late in the second quarter on a pair of 3-pointers. Team's leading scorer a year ago at over 13 a game. Getting wide open again is Blessing King, her second basket of this third quarter.
Katie Novick was feeling that one. She was trying to set up Blessing King all the way through. I think the Illini got relaxed once they saw King at the perimeter. She's never going to shoot that ball, so Katie Novick takes over and then finds the nice pass. It was a great cut, though, by Blessing King, and Morehead State needs more of that.
The pass from Shupill to McKenzie was off target. Charles, they play off her at the three-point line. She airmailed it, though, and Shupill comes away with the rebound. Her second rebound, make that her third rebound of the game. Transition three, no good, and King gets the loose ball. King had a lot of rebounds last year at Florida Southwestern State. She averaged 13.7 a game, and the Eagles off to a 6-0 start here in this third quarter.
A conversation with Coach Petrie at halftime, she expressed how she was happy with her team's fight and commitment to keeping up with Illinois' movement on offense.
All right, thank you, Cooper. Yeah, and getting off to the 6-0 start here in the third quarter. Very excited on the sideline was Petrie when that timeout was called just a few moments ago. And now Morehead State a chance to get even closer. Novick gets the screen. Rolling to the basket, and having a tough time with the catch, which led to a travel, Jaden Rhodes.
Yeah, half a second later, Kendall Bostic had the foul there, so it could have been potential for a couple free throws, but this has been basically the perfect start if you're Morehead State, because those are those 3 points of emphasis. Again, we've talked about it, defense, running, rebounds, and they've checked all of those boxes in these first 3 minutes. They outran the Illini flat out to kick things off for the second half. Now, things have settled down a little bit, but once this game opens up again, we'll see who's going to be the leader.
Shea Bolin checking back into the game a moment ago. And Illinois will get some free throws, looking for their first points of the third quarter. Sekia Rowley picking up her second personal.
Shea Bolin's reintroduction to this game is going to give us a better look at what she's going to bring to this team early here. In the exhibition, she didn't get a lot of stats going her way, but she saw a lot of time, and Coach Green said she clearly had an understanding of how things were working. She seemed to fit in pretty well. She just wasn't putting up a lot of the points just yet. So as she gets incorporated into this team, I expect that the stat sheet will be filled more, and more importantly, this Illinois team will feel it better.
Peebles goes 0 for 2 at the line. Charles will push the pace for the Eagles. Guarded by Peebles. Now trying to get around Bolin. Kicks it out. Secchiaroli for three. The rainbow almost banked it in. Long rebound. Charles to the floor. Grabs it. Novick to the baseline. Step back. Three is short by Jaden Rhodes. Last touch, though, by Peebles. So Morehead State will get a third chance in this third quarter possession with 6:23 to go, and they've outscored Illinois 6-0 here in the third.
Well, there you saw it again on another loose ball. Morehead State was quicker to it. They've just had the upper hand. They've been a little bit faster. They've had a little bit more of that hustle to the ball, and that's why Coach Petrie, definitely the happier of the two coaches so far in this second half.
8 on the shot clock. Novick gets tripped up, and the foul will be called on Genesis Bryant. It'll be her first personal. Crowd unhappy, just saying that Novick fell down, but she did trip over the foot, and you know, she had a step on Bryant, so that's the right call.
That's why it's a difficult call to make. They're showing it on the replay in-house. Genesis Bryant wasn't maliciously trying to trip Katie Novick, of course, but it did impede her progress, and that's always going to be called.
Charles, swallowed up by McKenzie and Bostic. 12 on the shot clock. Haley Rhodes, step back over Dolan, doesn't get the bounce. Bostic the rebound, her 9th, so she's 1 away from her first double-double of the season. Bryant gets in the lane, little hop step, and the finish.
It was interesting. Genesis Bryant's hair was in a bun to start the second half. She missed a 3, undid it, and there she is getting the quick bucket there. But in all seriousness, I mean, Genesis Bryant is checked in here. She was called for the foul earlier, but she's remaining aggressive, and I think that's sparking this Illinois team.
Wow, Charles
What a play.
able to just get enough distance using her body, small frame against the much bigger Kendall Bostic, and have a chance for a 3-point play.
That is classic Veronica Charles. I mean, that's an acrobatic effort for sure. She's only 5'4", so she's never going to make it over Kendall Bostic. So she leaps into space and kind of gives herself the best chance she possibly can. But Veronica Charles, she is always going to put her body on the line. She's always going to make that sacrifice. That's why this team, her coach, they all love her so much. She really is the heart and soul, the spirit of this team.
It's her second season with Morehead State. She started her collegiate career at South Georgia Technical College, then played 1 year at Stony Brook University on Long Island. That team, the Seawolves that she played for, played in the WNIT a couple of years ago, and then last year, the leading scorer for the Eagles, first team All-OVC and Defensive Player of the Year.
And you're just never going to see her not on her toes. Nice bucket there by Camille Hobby. And so now here is Morehead State again. How much of the shot clock are they going to use? They're going to try to push the pace here. That's what Coach Petrie wants to see from her Eagles. And look at Katie Novick, nice pass.
And the basket in close, easy 2. Blessing King has got 6 points here in the third. She picked up a couple of early fouls, and so we didn't see a ton of her in the first half, but now making her presence felt here in the third. Bryant, the floater, nothing but net.
That's why it's so hard to talk about anybody on either side, because they're just down the court so quickly. But nice quick possession there, stringing it together. She's always active, always moving. Rarely is she not going to be on her toes, and she's just like that off the court, is what Coach Petrie was telling us. She has that happy, bubbly personality.
Here comes Dolan on the run out. The freshman will get herself a trip to the free throw line. Dolan did have a couple of points, had a 3-point play, as a matter of fact, in the first half.
On the other end of that personality scale, you've got a Gretchen Dolan who very composed, very business-like. You're not going to see a lot of peaks and valleys from her. She's laser focused at all times, and there's benefit to both sides of that personality spectrum. Apparently, it's whenever either commentator's speaking that the free throws are just falling for either team. I thought it was just you, Scott, but
Dolan now 1 of 2 at the line tonight. Now 4 points for Dolan. Coach Shauna Green, very capable of going off at any time. That she's a scorer, 3-level scorer, and excited to have her here in Champaign. Charles, guarded by Rhodes. Screen set, Charles uses it, rainbow 3, and Veronica Charles has her third trifecta of the game, and now the first Eagle in double figures with 12.
Yeah, those high arching rainbow shots are certainly eye-catching, aren't they? But good work there by Veronica Charles to use the ability to reset. Once Katie Novick went back up into the middle, that allowed both teams to kind of reset in their formations. And in that case, Veronica Charles was able to break through, make the run, and then find her spot for the shot.
So the overall numbers now for Charles, 13 points. She's made 3 3-pointers. In fact, she may have started 0-5 from 3, as the whole team started, what was it, 0 for 12?
0 for 14,
0 for 14 from 3, so they've gone 4 of 8 since that start from behind the arc.
And it's not much of a departure from seasons past, certainly the last 2 years under Coach Petrie, for Morehead State to take a lot of those shots. That's just the nature of a team that's going to play at a quicker pace. Since they're not using all of the shot clock, that total game clock is going to see a lot more of those attempts.
Rhodes gets to the hoop, can't score it, gets her own rebound, goes right back to the rim, and puts it in. 5 points now for Cameron Rhodes. Before that, by the way, was the third foul on Blessing King, who was wide open, but Kendall Bostic was right there to take the pass. Dolan has it blocked by Novick. McKenzie will kick it out, and Illinois could settle it down with plenty of time on the shot clock. See, both teams had been 3 of 3 from the field until that miss a moment ago for Illinois. Goes off the foot of Dolan, and Charles coming up with the loose ball to the hoop against Bryant. Lays it in with the right hand. Now 14 for Charles, and Morehead State back within 13 at 53-40. Illinois is led by as many as 22. It was 43-21 right before the half. 44-24 was the halftime lead.
Well, and as Veronica Charles has come alive for this Eagles team, they have come alive around her. Her ability to reinvigorate this team just with how quickly she's hustling end to end or to any loose ball. And then she's taking those shots. She hasn't made all of them, obviously, but the fact that she has the confidence, I think, has inspired some confidence there in the process.
Wesson King going to check out now with those 3 fouls. It's lobbed in for McKenzie out there with Bryant, Rhodes, Bostic, and Dolan. This is Bostic swallowed up but fouled from behind by Novick.
Well, and Haley Rhodes was doing great work there to be right on top of her man there. Once again, that's Haley Rhodes' approach so far, and thus far it's worked. Katie Novick coming from behind, and it was kind of unnecessary because I think Rhodes may have been able to stand up Kendall Bostic and force her to make a move or kick it back out.
See Bostic's numbers on the game, now 12 points. Good from the field, perfect from the line thus far.
Oh boy, Scott.
I'm testing the theory. But I feel like now on at least 2 of the misses that have been quote-unquote my fault, the teams have gotten an offensive rebound out of it. So I don't know, maybe it's not a bad thing. It depends if they can take advantage of the second opportunity. And they will get more free throws, it appears. Genesis Bryant is fouled.
And that's the benefit that Genesis Bryant offers and how quick and shifty and agile she is when she does make those moves around a bigger defender, whenever that bigger defender moves, typically it's going to draw some foul contact.
That's the 4th foul on Novick, so she'll check out. And Paris McBride will come in, and Genesis Bryant to the line. 19 points today, 9 of 12 from the field in 23 minutes of action. Bryant last year had her career high 24 points in the game here against Iowa.
Not a bad time to get a career high.
And threatening to set a new career high here in the first game of the season. Of course, again, Illinois without Makira Cook, a little banged up. You know, it sounded somewhat precautionary to keep her out of the lineup. That if maybe this was, say, in the middle of the Big Ten season, Big Ten tournament postseason, that she would be out there and playing. But taking the precaution here early in the year.
I'm not entirely surprised by that decision. We kind of knew she was going to be day-to-day in the last few days, and Coach Green was a little bit coy on her status, but considering the games that Illinois has in the very near future, not at all surprised that Makira Cook is getting the rest, especially with so many talented guards that are fully capable.
Go on the road Saturday and play at Marquette. Of course, a solid Big East team. Play on their home floor. I'm sure it'll be packed and loud there. Then you come back here a week from tomorrow, have the morning game, the field trip day game against St. Peter's, and then big one on the calendar all early on. Saturday, November 18th, they'll take on the 10th ranked team in the country, Notre Dame. That game in Washington, D.C., nationally televised game. And so that's going to be a big game, obviously for Notre Dame as well, but really big game for the Illinois program. Going to be a lot of eyeballs on that game. When we're talking about national TV, it's on network TV.
And we talk about it with Illinois, their first year under Coach Green. It was just about steadying the ship, Coach Green being able to establish her team, her culture, and now it's about challenging this team, because when you look at it, Illinois starts the program, they're non-conference, not all that strong, but it didn't have to be, because it was more about just getting the team together regardless of who they were facing, because they struggled against everybody before Coach Green got there. And so now that she's here, now they have their identity and they can start putting it to the test early before that really challenging Big Ten slate.
Part of Big Ten's new television deal that includes NBC, and if I remember correctly, it's going to be the first ever women's basketball game on NBC. So that'll be Illinois and Notre Dame coming up on Saturday, November the 18th in Washington, D.C., as Sarek gets the bucket for the Eagles, 58-42.
Some hard contact there taken by Genesis Bryant, I think. Yeah, they are going to get Paris McBride for that call. It's interesting, Sark scoring from the inside once more. I've talked about her threat from range, and when it's not your night, it's not your night, but she's improvised and she's finding her paths on the inside, and on the Morehead State offensive side of the ball, she's gotten a couple points and she's gotten a couple to fall, and that's a good sign.
Bryant now with 22 on the evening. Second team all Big Ten last year. The triple-double I mentioned last year was just the third in program history, and it was only the 6th ever 20-point triple-double in Big Ten history. And she scored 22 points, had the 10 rebounds and 12 assists.
She's primed to go for a few more of those. That's always going to be called there on, I think that was Kendall Bostic that's going to be dinged for the foul.
Her second.
Just getting the swat there. There wasn't as much contact as I initially thought, but any graze of the arm and to the charity stripe, the Eagles will go.
Haley Rhodes, 5 points on the evening, now 6 with the free throw.
Haley Rhodes is another one for this Eagles team that is going to see a lot more minutes. Their second and third highest scorers last year, no longer with the team, and so Haley Rhodes is one of those players that stands to benefit in her newly enhanced role to take more of her chances. She's shown flashes. She just needs to make it more consistent.
There are 10 new players on this Morehead State team, 8 transfers in 2 freshmen. Foul away from the ball. I think Charles is going to pick up her 3rd foul as Illinois in the bonus will be 2 more. Foul actually goes on Haley Rhodes. So her 2nd. And at the line will be Genesis Bryant. Will now have a chance to tie and possibly set a new career high here in the 3rd quarter of the opening game of the season.
Certainly not a bad foot to get off on if you're Genesis Bryant.
And 1 game in the season, not even 3 quarters in, a brand new career high for Genesis Bryant with 25 points, 9 of 12 from the field in just 24 minutes of action. Less than a minute to go here in the 3rd. McBride, 5 to shoot. Charles is open. Bostic the closeout. They need that rainbow. Charles follows the shot with Bostic cleared out from the paint. That helps open it up a bit. And Charles gets on the offensive glass. 16 points for Charles, 10 here in the 3rd quarter.
That play absolutely deserved the finish, and they didn't get the 3, but Veronica Charles's hustle gets Morehead State to get the points anyway. But that was a nice patient sequence there by the Eagles. If the shot wasn't there, they were going to create it. Veronica Charles found that space several seconds before the ball got there, but she was able to convert on the rebound.
5 on the shot clock. Bostic, ripped away from the weak side by Paris McBride. 5 seconds to go in the 3rd. And they won't get a shot off McKenzie, though. A half-court heave, almost banks it in. And that'll wrap up the 3rd quarter. Morehead 12 shooting, 6 of 7 at the line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
She's been aided by playing more point guard minutes than she normally does since Makaira Cook is not in, but it's been her effort all across the floor, on both ends really, but especially in scoring, and the Illini have kind of needed it. Morehead State hasn't fully gone away.
Paris McBride with the hoop. 4 points for McBride. 14-point game, so this is not out of reach for Morehead State. Obviously, you need to ramp it up defensively, though.
And I can tell you, Coach Petrie was not really expecting a result like this. She wanted to see the best out of her team, of course, but it's been about playing their game. It's been about the process, but it's paid dividends so far.
Illinois is led by as many as 22. That was at the tail end of the 2nd quarter, 43-21. They led 44-24 at halftime. It was 20-11 back at the end of the 1st quarter. Charles wants the screen, drives, gets to the paint, meets Bostic, kicks it out, 3 ball. That's good for Valentina Saric off the dish from Charles, who got to Bostic in the middle of the paint, said, well, I got no shot here. finds the open teammate. It's an 11-point game.
Well, it's easy to freeze. I mean, we kind of saw that for half a second, but she was able to kick it out to Sarek, who finally gets a 3 to fall. That's going to feel really good for her. And like you said, Scott, 11-point game. Illinois is probably going to have to ask some questions here.
Morehead State is 5 for its last 10 now, shooting the 3 after an 0 for 14 start. And now, much like the third quarter started, Morehead State got off to a 6-0 advantage. Now 5-0 to begin this fourth quarter. A little closer than I think many people expected, even with Makaira Cook out of the lineup. Nice crowd on hand here, largest home opener that's not been a field trip game since 1999. There's expectations for this program here in Champaign, and that's a tough one for Haley Rhodes, who will travel after getting the second chance.
I got a little bit too excited to get the offensive board, I think, and she was looking for the next pass. That foot slid just a little bit too much, and that's an unfortunate one for Morehead State because it's a rare instance of them choosing to settle down, and I think that was kind of done mostly to just let it set in for Illinois a little bit that we're not going away. They wanted to draw up their play, score on their terms, and they were fortunate to get that offensive board, unfortunate to give away the turnover.
McKenzie crosses over on McBride, gets close to the rim, missed it short. Second chance finish and the foul. Adalia McKenzie now up to 6 points on the evening, and a chance to make it 7.
That is exactly what you want if you're Adalia McKenzie. Very sharp to get that rebound, that grit. She's one of those Illini that have been here in some of those low years, and another one that's been reinvigorated by this step up that this program has seen. But the talent has always been there for Adalia McKenzie. She was a top performer as a freshman and has blended in nicely with this new look resurfaced Illinois team.
As a freshman 2 years ago, McKenzie was second on the team in scoring and rebounding. Minnesota Miss Basketball in her senior season out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
I'm seeing Coach Petrie kind of wrap herself around Paris McBride as she catches a breather. What a second half it's been for McBride.
McKenzie can't finish off the three-point play, and McBride goes and gets the rebound for the Eagles. Morehead State, top 10 in the country last year in win improvement. 2 seasons ago, in Petrie's first year as the head coach, Morehead State was 1-27. He improved to 11-20 last year. Charles short with the 3, tapped out Bostic, and it's a 2-on-0, now a 2-on-2, 3-on-2 developing, and the pull-up by Cameron Rhodes. She's got 7, and that's a new career high for Cameron Rhodes. After she played 14 games as a freshman a year ago, she's got 7 in her first game as a sophomore.
Yeah, the Illini much needed for depth last year, and they're going to be happy to see Cameron Rhodes, a player they're very excited about ever since she's gotten here. She'll be getting a lot more minutes this year, and they really would like to see more from their bench because they didn't get as much production as I feel like they could have last year.
McBride comes up short with it, and it's out of bounds, and will be Illinois basketball. This Illinois team last year, they led the Big Ten in rebounding margin. Big reason why, of course, Kendall Bostic. They led the Big Ten in three-point percentage defense, and they were second in the conference in three-point percentage offense, and then did not turn the ball over that many times. 13 turnovers a game, second fewest in the conference, top 30 turnovers. Shot 3 of 10 from 3. Morehead State 5 of 26 from 3.
Well, and part of why Illinois was so vastly improved was their versatility with each individual player. You've got Bryn Shoup-Hill, we haven't seen a ton of today, but we're going to see a lot of her. Her size offers a lot inside, her shooting ability a lot outside. You've got Genesis Bryant, who continues to score in every which way you can imagine. And then Kendall Bostic, of course. I mean, she's been pretty contained to the inside, but just how dynamic she is as a player in that area makes her so dangerous. And you can go on and on about the versatility, the diverse skill sets that these Illini have, and that translates to a lot of different successes.
Bryant now 28 points, Illinois 4 of 11 from 3. 50% overall shooting for Illinois, 25 of 50. Meanwhile, Morehead State 20 of 50 for 40% in this game. Morehead State going into a drought now here in this middle point of the fourth quarter after they were looking like they might be able to make a run. Foul going on Bostic, her third. And At the line will be Katie Novick, who has 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Bostic will go to the bench, and Camille Hobby returning for Illinois. By the way, Bostic does have the double-double. Free throw no good there. Bostic had 12 double-doubles last year. Of course, her first of this season and the 18th of her career. And with the second free throw miss here, some of these fans win some chicken nuggets. There we go.
There you go. Loudest the stadium has been all night, Scott.
Oh, you like free chicken nuggets, don't you? McKenzie all the way to the hoop, missed it short. Batted around and secured by Secchiaroli. Mentioned the rebounding earlier as well. Illinois led the Big Ten in rebounding margin. In this game, though, they're being out-rebounded by Morehead State, 33-28. Eagles have 13 offensive rebounds for 6 second chance points. Illinois has 11 for 11 second chance points.
Genesis Bryant once more. I mean, that
30 now for Bryant.
30 from Genesis Bryant. We've talked about the rebounds a lot. You can imagine how much Coach Petrie has hammered rebounds just by how they've come out and done so.
Novick, good-looking 3. 9 points for Novick. So the first 30-point game of Genesis Bryant's career coming in the opener today without Makira Cook in the lineup. And it's nice to know for Shauna Green and the Illinois coaching staff, as that will not count, that in this situation you have a very capable player to step up and be that high-volume scorer.
That's why it was so interesting to watch Genesis Bryant last year, because clearly very talented, didn't get a lot of time during her years at NC State, and then she comes over here, but with the added competition of Makira Cook, if you will, and ideally Genesis Bryant probably wants that point guard position. Still very effective as an additional guard with Makira running the point, but you can tell that she sees this as kind of an opportunity. Ask the question. You never know, especially if Makira Cook goes down again at some point. Hopefully she doesn't, but
Bryant now
very
with
capable.
32. And she's 12 of 16 from the field. So Illinois, talked about Saturday, will play at Marquette their next game. Morehead State will have their home opener this coming Thursday as Secchiaroli hits a 3. So Morehead State, the 3-point shooting, it was a very, very slow start, but it's come on here. But I also have to think that Shauna Green will be a little unhappy with some of the 3-point defense in this second, third, and fourth quarters. Shupill will try her hand at a second 3-point make.
Again, we haven't seen a lot from her today, but when she's been on the floor, she's been effective, and that's why Coach Green values her presence so much in this team. Get a bit of applause there from Coach Green.
Kayla Petrie will call a timeout here for Morehead State. Will stay here.
Especially, and it's situational basketball, especially when you're away from home. There's just different feelings about how do you come out of halftime in front of a hostile crowd that is not at your back. And that's going to tell us a lot about this team. We're going to learn a lot about their ceiling this coming weekend.
Also in the non-conference season, Illinois will, of course, take on Missouri. Also have games with Arkansas and UTEP. Those will be played in West Palm Beach, Florida. Charles for 3. That's no good. Hobby got to get the one-handed rebound. Offensive rebound putback is good for Blessing King.
Well, there you go, Blessing King. She's one of the key additions. What a split that is there for Genesis Bryant and the rest of the team. But here's Blessing King, and this is exactly why Coach Petrie added her to the squad, because we've talked about it throughout this game. But rebounding has been hammered in this Eagles locker room, on the practice floor. And then Blessing King's addition, I mean, she's got some pretty crazy stats of her own, and they look to have translated so far.
Lane violation called on Illinois.
They call Camille Hobby for that one? I'm not entirely sure. There was some early movement, no doubt.
Illinois will open up the Big Ten season here at home on December the 10th when they'll take on Michigan. It's the Big Ten right now with 6 teams ranked in the AP Top 25. Iowa at 3, Ohio State at 7. You got Indiana at 9. Misspoke, so it's 5 teams. 5 teams. Maryland at 14, Illinois, of course, at 23. Nebraska is receiving votes as well to make it into the AP Top 25 preseason poll. Bostic, top of the key for 3. Kendall Bostic was 0 for 3 from downtown last year. She's 1 for 1 this season.
And she's got a big smile on her face, as does just about everybody in this stadium. She's done a lot of work on that. She has been for years. It's been a matter of confidence, and it looks like she may be finding some at last. Coach Green is going to be happy to see practice paying off on the court.
Former Michigan State Spartan, now in her 3rd year at Illinois. Corner 3, bounces out for Jaden Rhodes.
Oh no, this is not a good sight.
Genesis Bryant is down and grabbing at her
Looks
right
like it's her calf.
leg.
That's what she's, yeah.
Down near the calf, near the ankle. Hopefully it is just a cramp. And Autumn Taylor, Illinois trainer, is over there stretching out the leg. And yeah, the way she was holding the leg, to me, indicated a cramp. So everybody kind of taking a deep breath now. And obviously you don't want to see it, but she's played a ton today, and she's played very well. And it's early in the season, and now has a smile on her face. She's getting up, so she scared everybody in the building for a brief moment there.
A collective,
and now she's jogging off the court.
From the
and I think everybody
there.
across the Big Ten, you know, even opponents looking, saying, we don't want anyone, a good player like that, to get hurt at any team across the league. And anybody watching this game is happy to see Bryant go to the bench, where I think she'll remain the rest of the night and finish with a career-high 32 points.
That's not a bad day at the office if you're Genesis Bryant.
12 of 16 shooting for Bryant in 33 minutes of play. Oh, heads up.
Good reflexes by our producer, Will Horvat, there.
Almost took out Cooper, who's sitting right next to us right now. Oh, no, we got the ball.
The ball back.
Oh, I got it. I got the ball. I'm taking my time here. I got my moment here. Why isn't the camera on me right now? What are we doing? Come on. All right.
Natasha Cammey, the official there, taking over.
We almost got drilled twice, from the front and from the back, with that ball. And then I lingered with the ball for an extra moment. I was waiting for the camera to cut to me, so I get my moment here, but
nice move there by Adalia McKenzie.
Not meant to be, Alec. Not meant to be.
Not this time.
No, not this time. You're right. 20-point lead for Illinois. Final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. Cameron Rhodes off the dribble. Camille Hobby will take a 3. Too strong. Batted around. Bostic, another rebound. She's got 13 with her 15 points. So this opening game, you get Bostic 1 for 1 in double doubles, and Genesis Bryant with a new career high 32 points. But I'm sure if you talk to Shauna Green post game today, and I say this every broadcast I do, every coach, there's always, even in a win, even in a 20-point win, there's going to be things that they want to work on. And there were lulls. There were definite lulls at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th quarter, that let Morehead State hang around. And I think for Kayla Petrie and the Eagles, they're going to feel pretty, encouraged by what they were able to do in different portions of this game against the 23rd ranked team in the country.
Yeah, when you're establishing culture, you want a coach that's confident in their process, and that is going to reflect in the players ideally. And so if a coach is sticking to her guns in a game like
nice
this.
Nice move there, Secchiaroli.
Nice, well, Secchiaroli has had a great second half, but if you see a coach that is really confident in her approach and every opponent she faces, if it is even a team like Illinois, I mean, that's going to say something to this locker room, and that's why there has been such a shift in this team over the last couple of years, and I fully expect that to continue. We've seen a lot of signs that the Eagles will not go down without a fight in a lot of their games and through their OVC slate this year.
Foul on the entry pass that went to Camille Hobby. So no foul shots, only the 4th team foul on Morehead State. The Eagles will play an NAIA team on Thursday at home, Wilberforce, out of Ohio. Then next Sunday, actually this coming Sunday, they're going to play at Alabama, so they'll have another game against a Power 5 opponent. Under out of bounds here for Illinois with 35 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. Illinois was 12-3 here at home last season. It'll be 1-0 to start a brand new year as Hobby, with 6 points in her Illinois debut, understands what it takes to win. And Sean agreed talking about Hobby that she's got to live in her best life right now. She's getting a master's degree, so she's taking all online classes, so she's always at the facility, always practicing, and has that business-like mentality. Corner, no good by Secchiaroli. And stay tuned here post-game. Cooper is going to catch up with Kendall Bostic of the Fighting Illini. It's possible that Genesis Bryant was going to be our post-game interview, but maybe with the cramp, going to get her off her feet as quickly as possible. But I'm sure one of the questions Cooper can ask is even ask Kendall about the play of Genesis Bryant, because it's got to be fun to be a teammate and watch a player perform like that, the way that Genesis Bryant did. So stay tuned to hear it for a couple of moments as we'll get that interview lined up for you. 81-61, Illinois takes the win over Morehead State.
आइल बाटे तो